We are very fortunate to be joined this morning by Jasper Nathaniel, who is an incredible journalist. You guys should go subscribe to his Substack, Infinite Jazz, and a great friend of the show who just witnessed and experienced something incredibly wild. Jasper, great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you, man.
So I saw these videos on social media of you being chased down by a mob of violent Israeli terrorist settlers. And we can put some of these images up on the screen. And you, of course, have been documenting abuses against Palestinians in the West Bank for months at this point. If you could just take us through where you are and what the hell we're looking at here.
Yeah, I'm in a town called Turmisaya, which is just outside Ramallah in the central West Bank. This is the first day of the olive harvest for the village. Basically, everybody went out together as a group because they knew they were expecting settler violence, and so everybody drove in a caravan to their individual plots. And basically, from the very beginning of the day, we were seeing violent settlers. The first road we tried to take, there was a settler with a gun, just sort of menacing us. But then things got really bad later when we were trying to leave the fields, and we got trapped by, on one side, there was a couple of settlers who would not let us pass. And then on the other side, there was an IDF Jeep. And so I got out of our car to go up to talk to the soldiers because the people I was with were, they were not white. They're Palestinian Americans, actually, which is an important point. But I was the only white person, basically. So I got out, my hands up, walked up the hill to talk to them. They're aiming their guns at me, which is pretty much how soldiers talk to you in the West Bank. And I shouted to them, like, we are being trapped by settlers who are not letting us out, and we need safe passage. And they started saying, what are you doing here? Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's a little back and forth. And I convinced them, like, we're really just trying to get out and we need your help. And they said, fine, okay, you can come. So I went back in the car. We drove up. They told us, the soldiers said, wait here. So we waited maybe a minute. And then the army Jeep just sped off out of nowhere. And left there was two settlers on an ATV, one of them with a gun, and a couple other Palestinians. And basically, to fast forward a little bit, the other car had been smashed and had its tires slashed by settlers, and they were having trouble getting out. And so I was trying to help that car get out when the videos you just showed, about 100 or so settlers just emerged from the hills. And I just started running. We all started running. I mean, they originally tried to go in the car, but in the video, you can see the car gets overtaken. They drag the driver and the passenger out, and they both miraculously escaped. And we basically ran for our lives. And when I got back down to the car that I had been in, one of the settler who was basically right on my tail, who is the guy who you see in the video, in the another video, which maybe you'll show, basically he smashed through our windshield, and then he runs ahead. And that's a video of him just beating an old lady, an elderly lady who had been picking olives. He knocked her unconscious with the club, and then he hit her twice more when she was on the ground. And then he kept running, and then he beat two activists, actually, two European activists. And I went to help the lady. This is that scene right now. She has a brain hemorrhage. Last I heard, she was in the ICU, but she had stabilized, so that's good news. That's good. But it was just total chaos. I mean, it was pandemonium. And, you know, this is, funnily enough, this is a wealthier town in the West Bank that is 85% American citizens, actually. So It's people who go back and forth. And they've been pretty insulated from a lot of what, certainly what like the shepherding villages in the Hebron Hills face, because, you know, they have money and they have blue passports, and And only in the last couple of years have they really started to feel the heat. And I think that yesterday was a very clear indication that this was a message sent by the settlers in coordination with the IDF that we will hunt you down and we'll hurt you or we'll kill you, and we'll do it on your own land. And nobody is spared, not old ladies, not American journalists, not farmers, anybody in our path, anybody on their own land will be clubbed. And, this is like, if I wasn't there yesterday, nobody would know about this.
Yep.
Or maybe it would be a little story.
Right.
That's right.
This is happening everywhere, every single day in the West Bank. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's really hard to explain just how shocking and brazen and cruel it is. And I don't just mean like the scene itself that, you see on video, which I guess is pretty shocking, but like these settlers have literally stolen their agricultural land and occupied their farmhouses. So they've built like these nice, and when I say farmhouse, think more like small mansion. I mean, again, these are like wealthy people. They put a lot of money into building up little homes in their olive fields, and the settlers are now living in them.
Yeah.
Wow. Living in them and launching attacks on the home's owners from those houses.
And in collaboration with the IDF, which is another important part of your story, Jasper.
Can I also add a corollary? Hey, Jasper, where are all these settlers from? Did you hear any familiar accents?
I didn't hear anybody talking. They had masks on and they did not say a word. So that's a good question. They're probably from all over. Some of them are probably from Israel. Some of them could be Russian, American. They could be from anywhere. Sorry, Krystal, can you repeat your question?
Oh, I just said an important part of your story is that these are not rogue actors, because that's the way, oftentimes in Western media or, Joe Biden's administration sanctioned a couple of these most psychotic characters. They act like they're fringe characters. But in fact, and your story demonstrates this, they are working in collaboration directly with the government and with IDF assistance.
Yes. Bigger picture, like the Israeli government provides an unbelievable amount of financial backing and political backing to the most violent settlers, including the actual murderers. They often arm them. They give them these settlers. What they do is they peel off from a settlement and they basically like put down a tent somewhere and raise an Israeli flag, and then the tent becomes two tents, and then a little home is built, and suddenly they've got control of this whole area. And even under Israeli law, outposts are illegal because you need to get authorization to build a settlement. But Smotrich, what he's been doing, the finance minister in Israel, is offering retroactive authorization to outposts.
Wow. So
the people who are out here stealing land, terrorizing Palestinians, are getting full backing from the government in doing this. In terms of the IDF, listen, the most generous reading for what happened yesterday, just for to give them the benefit of the doubt, is that they really fucked up. Excuse my language,
You're
but
fine.
they didn't know that there were 100 settlers hiding just in the trees, and maybe they thought the two settlers that were already there, even though one had a gun, they thought, oh, he'll probably just leave on his own. And it was just like they messed up, and they left us to get attacked. My experience was that they let us up, left, and then immediately the settlers came out from the hills and chased me and chased us. And I want to also say, like 2 weeks ago, I wrote a story about Palestinian Americans who have been killed in the West Bank, and I went with their families to Washington, D.C. as they, in a completely futile effort, sought accountability. And a number of those kids who were killed have been killed right around where I am. because again, this is where a lot of the Americans live. So, so right now I'm staying at the house of Mohammed Ibrahim, who is the 16-year-old Palestinian American who's currently in Israeli military detention. He's been there for over 8 months now. His first cousin is Saifullah Musalat, who was beaten to death by a band of settlers, probably exactly like the ones that were chasing me. Could even be some of the same people. About a couple kilometers away from here is where Saifullah was beaten to death. Taufik was shot dead by an Israeli sniper about a 5-minute drive from here. So, I mean, I am really in the heart of where the Americans are killed. The Palestinian Americans are killed. And, so what we witnessed yesterday, or what I witnessed yesterday, this is what happens here. This is what they do. I mean, it's a lynch mob, and I'll tell you, they're terrifying. I mean, these guys are terrifying, and they have guns, and people know they are not afraid to kill, and they're not afraid to club old ladies, and so it's quite effective what they do. Now, I'll just add, the residents of these towns also understand that not only do they want to get to their olive trees, because it's in part it's their livelihood. There's other places, I should say, that are much more dependent on their olives. Here, since there's a little more money, it's a little bit less so, but there's still a deep symbolic value. But what they think is that if they stop going out into the fields and they let the settlers just run the hills, they'll be coming for the village next. Mm-hmm. Because settlers famously are never satisfied. Yeah. They get all the agricultural land, and then what they're going to see is a lot of beautiful homes, and they're going to go for those homes.
I do want to make sure, I mean, I think, your testimony is incredible. I also do want to make sure we talk about the role of the U.S. Embassy here. Can we put B2B, please, on the screen just to show your exchange, text message exchange here with the U.S. Embassy? You said, we've told the Israelis that they plan. You say, we need American protection. We are Americans. You repeatedly say, I am an American tourist. Can you protect me? And they say, no, the protection of American citizens is the responsibility of the host nation government. You reply, are you implying the Israeli government will protect me and other Americans here? I don't understand. The IDF directly led us into an ambush. And they reply, that is what is supposed to happen. Yeah, so effectively, they told you drop dead. They said, we will do absolutely nothing for you. You are a United States citizen. You are also, in the home of people who have dual, or I guess, American citizenship. You're in a village with a lot of American citizens. And these people are being left completely out there by their own government.
There's 60,000 Palestinian Americans in the West Bank, and most of them are in this area. And they get zero protection from the United States, from the State Department. And, if you look at those text messages, he says to me, it's the host nation's responsibility to protect American tourists. And if they don't do it, we pull our embassy from there, like we did with Syria and with Venezuela and I think Yemen. So, and then he acknowledges Israel is actually failing to protect Americans. So by his logic, they should have pulled the embassy out of Jerusalem. But instead, of course, Huckabee is as close as ever with Netanyahu. And I do not believe we're considering pulling out the embassy. So, look, I don't need to explain the just like gross double standards with America's kid gloves that they use with Israel, or just the relationship. But I have to say, I was not subtle there. I told them before that exchange, we spoke on the phone, and I said to him, he had seen the video. I can't reveal the guy's name because it was off the record, but I said, listen, man, I was very close to being killed. Like, if those guys caught me, we saw what they did with the old lady. What do you think they would have done with me? And I'm going back out to the fields tomorrow to document it. And I need you to protect me. And they said no. So there it is.
I want to put before up on the screen to your point about, like, there are no safe places, safe people, nothing. So this Christian village that Huckabee had previously made a big deal about and gone to visit, and now being attacked also by Israeli settlers. I saw a video in this, you were speaking to some of the same about, like, for people who don't know, a longtime activist practice has been to, as a Westerner or a white person or an American, to be present during the harvest, during other critical times, because there was a sense that, like, okay, well, they won't murder the American journalist, surely. So this will provide some level of protection to the Palestinians, or they won't murder the European activists, so this will provide some level of protection. And that thinking, like, that is no longer the case. Anyone and everything is a target. There's total impunity. It's like, they know that they could have murdered that old lady, and there would never be they would never be tried for it. They certainly wouldn't be convicted for it. There would be no justice from the Israeli justice system for anyone who is other than, a Jewish Israeli. So is that your experience as well, that, American journalists or European activists, they are now just as much a target and nothing is off the table in the way that perhaps it used to be?
It's funny because right before this, to answer your question, yes, that's always been my experience. But however, just before this, I was back in the olive fields, and I actually just posted this video on Twitter immediately before coming on. I was back in the fields on the exactly where I was attacked yesterday, exactly where the old woman was clubbed yesterday, and it's a peaceful day there. There's no settlers around. And the IDF is patrolling and going up to the olive farmers and asking if they're okay or if they need anything. Now, do I think it's sincere? No. Do I think it's going to last forever? Absolutely not. But it's very clear why this is happening. And I know for a fact because as I was there, a police commander pointed to me. He recognized me from the video. He wanted to talk to me. They're doing I'm going to call it the charade of an investigation. Maybe they can prove me wrong. They insisted that they're taking it very seriously. They were also so disturbed by the video of me getting chased and of the old lady getting hit. And they're going to go after that man and get him. And I said to them, look, prove me wrong.
Hey, I almost got killed yesterday when you did that. Yeah, you led me right up into an ambush. I almost got killed. 100 people chased me. You know that? You were right there and you left. And I got chased by 100 settlers trying to kill me. I could be dead. I could be dead.
Yeah. Listen, they want to investigate the assault.
Okay,
They
yeah.
want you help.
Yeah, you're going to be
Can you
investigated
help?
too, though, because you're part of it.
Can you help them?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So it was
doing some propaganda.
Propaganda.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
of
almost got
course.
killed yesterday.
Yeah,
Is that
but
propaganda? You
it's not
saw
our
the
fault.
video. You saw the video.
If we don't care, we just don't come here and try to protect you. But we care.
Oh, you
And
care.
we got the police to investigate.
So has he been
this
arrested
case.
yet? Has he been arrested yet? The guy who
We
did
are
it?
looking for him, and
Okay.
then he will arrested.
Okay.
Of course.
help them
All right.
with the
Good.
investigation?
Good.
Those people are charged to take some DNA and all those things.
Yeah.
But without feeling.
So, look, do I think that what happened yesterday and the coverage of it is going to, change everything? Absolutely not. But my point is, it does show that the Israeli government or the Israeli military or both, they are responsive to this kind of thing. Now, we've all watched what they've done in Gaza for the last 2 years. Obviously, they've committed a just horrific genocide and have largely just like batted away, shamelessly batted away every accusation against them. But in this case, it could not have been more clear that the fact that all these people saw what happened is why they had a safe day of harvesting their olives today. And so I think that, there's a balance between wanting to fully acknowledge what you're saying, Krystal, which is that the violent settlers act with complete impunity. But there is evidence that if we showed the world the kind of violence and brutality that they're facing, maybe they'll have a day of good harvesting, which is
some pressure.
which is
That's an important point. All right, guys, everybody needs to subscribe to Jasper Substack, Infinite Jazz over at Substack. And Jasper, please be safe. And, we really appreciate your work and your physical and intellectual courage.
Good to see you, man.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.